luxuriant surroundings. And I'm just out on a little run, 25 miles or so, just to get everything up to operating temperature, nicely operating temperature. I could just go down to the next village and back, and it's a lovely day. It's saying it's 15 degrees at the minute, and I've got a hoodie on because I'm in an air-conditioned luxuriant automobile. But we're getting everything warmed up because it's oil change day, and I think I've got an air filter and fuel filter as well. I don't think the fuel filter was due for like thousands of miles, but if they've put one in, then I may as well change it. So I should be videographing that, and then what I'm going to do, I want to check the gearbox oil level as well, and the level plug on these Jatcos are notorious for being quite tight. He wasn't going to fucking stop, bell end. I'm going to pre-loosen it and put it back in and just do the service first, and then I'm going to do the gearbox oil level check as a part 2 to the video. It doesn't take long, but the gearbox, there's a lot of faffing around with it. If it's like a manual gearbox, you can literally just drain them and then, you know, fill them. There's a bit more to it than that, but you can literally just do that. But with automatics, because they go through passages and you know, to activate solenoids which work on oil pressure and shit like that, the level is critical. Otherwise they don't work. They start slipping, or, you know, shit like that. They just misbehave, and a lot of people just give it up as the car's bollocks, and they give up. But 9 times out of 10 on an automatic, it's to do with the oil level or the oil filter. Hello, you're creeping along quite nicely, aren't you? Are you in the right lane? Or are you trying to sneak in, you little bastard? Go on then, get your toe down to pedal on the right, footwit. Another driver who's got his licence off the back of a cornflakes packet. So that's what we're doing. We're just warming it through, and when you do the gearbox oil level check, the gearbox has to be at operating temp, hence we're going out for a run. You won't see it in the same sequence, but I'm actually going to do the gearbox oil level check when I get back, because it needs to go up on the ramps to get my fat carcass underneath the car and access the drain plug. So the easiest thing to do is to do the gearbox oil level first, and the gearbox has to be at temperature. You have to sit there, work it through the gears for a few seconds in each gear, check the level. You take the level plug out, check the level, and basically the level is just below the threads of the hole. So ideally you can get like a little Allen key in there and just dip it and see where it is, and that's tested obviously at temperature. There is a school of thought where, well, all you're doing is swapping oil out, so if you put back in exactly the same amount that you take out, in theory you can't go wrong. And you know, yeah, there's a logic to that, but there's also a logic that if it was as easy as that, all the manuals and the service data would tell you just to do that. Just take a set quantity out, weigh it, whatever, measure it and chuck back in. I mean, you're not going to go far wrong, to be honest, but if it says it's got to be done at temperature, it's because obviously the oil viscosity changes and the oil expands slightly, so this is why you quite a lot of people do it by weight and volume and all that lot. It's beyond me. But basically what we've got to do is sit there with it in each gear for 2 or 3 seconds, and that basically primes all the pumps, solenoids, whirly bits, wiggly bits, jiggly bits, spurty bits and changey bits, so they're all primed basically. And then yeah, you check the level, and you just if it's not at the level, take the fuel plug out, which is just on top of the gearbox. It's quite an easy one on this, it's just a cap, but you must be meticulously clean around it. You can't afford to get any crap at all in these auto gearboxes, because there's such fine ports and stuff inside. You will absolutely knacker it if you introduced foreign objects, not your penis. So that's got to be clean. So I've already cleaned around that with brake clean, give it a wipey, and that's already clean. I'll give it another quick wipe over before I take the cap off again, and then we can check the level. My driveway is pretty much level. It's, you know, it's close enough to make no difference. So we'll do that, but that will be part 2 of the video. Part 1 will be the basic service. So that's what we're going to do. So the next time I film it, we'll be getting grubby with oily bits. Yep, that about sums it up. There was going to be, as per the introduction, shut the door, you twat. There we go, it's shut. As you can see, various detritus knocking around, because as usual I am a super tidy bloke. There was going to be a video on how to service the Rover 75, but you know, there's already a few out there, to be honest, and they're pretty decent. Anyway, I started doing it and taking some photographs and stuff like that, and then it all went breasts vertical because I lost my fuel filter socket, which I knew I'd got, but it had been put away on an extension in an area where I don't usually keep sockets. So anyway, I found that, managed to change fuel filter, oil filter, air filter, change the oil, put the under tray back on and all that lot, under topped up the gear oil, and I'd filmed a lot of it, but like a moron I'd set the camera to photograph mode, so when I pressed the button to record it just took a photograph. So yeah, so well, that's it really. Anyway, Rover's back, we went on holiday, and car was fine, absolutely fine. It's still like a few thousand miles short of when Rover recommended doing the oil changes, which was like 15,000 miles, but you can't really change the oil too early unless you've just put it in. So I think I've worked out we've done probably done about 10,000 or something, I don't know, I'll work it out, because it was the oil and all the filters were changed before the last MOT. I do believe, yeah, might be right with that, might not be, I can't honestly remember. I'm a bit frazzled because I've been out in the sun and I've got some vitamin D into my head and it's completely buggered me up. But anyway, Rover's done now, that's all good. Next will be Nibbler's MOT is due, but I think I'm going to hold off on that for a while because I want to finish repairing the front mudguard, which is in the to be attended to area, along with a Slinky's engine cover. Mercedes plastics, as they get older with all the heat cycles and stuff, are notoriously weak. Well, they're not weak, they just crack, they go rock hard, there's no pliability left, and that's what's happened with that one. It's cracked, so I'm going to try and repair it. And the front mudguard's still in there from the staples and all that lot, so I think before I take Nibbler for an MOT I'd like to put the front mudguard on, and not bothered about making it look nice, I'd just like it fitted, because I'm getting loads of shit up the radiator and stuff like that at the minute. But yeah, other than that, not a lot's happening. Oh yeah, Slinky's due in April, I think, sometime in April, and he's going to need an O2 sensor, which Uncle Steve has kindly provided a link for, so I'm going to have a look at that, work out whether it's a 2-wire or 4-wire, and that's the only thing I've got to work out really. The rest is just take it out, put it back in, and that should clear the engine light, because it's over fueling at the minute. It's going through fuel like you would not believe, and it's, if the O2 sensor's out, it'll knock the fueling out, and it'll either underfuel, it'll either run lean or it'll run rich, and I think mine's running rich. So yeah, we'll get that sorted, but just plugging away at the minute. Hey, the box moved, I nearly shat myself. So yes, so one thing that surprised me about the Rover, it takes 6.75 litres of oil. You know, that's quite a lot. When you're used to like motorbikes that take 4 litres, or little motorbikes that take a litre or something like that, it's a bit of a shock. But I managed to find a shop on the Bay of E, because I went to have a look at people like Rimmer Brothers and people like that, for the price of the air filter, oil filter and all this lot, and for what they were charging for just the filters, I've managed to get 7 litres of man oil, not man oil, but that's the name of it, man oil, I'm sure you've heard of it, the correct oil, semi-synth, all that lot, and all the filters for, I think it was about 49 quid. And people like Rimmers and all that lot, because they have a lot of options, you were lucky to just get the filters for like 70 quid. So I thought, right, no brainer, we'll do that. Really no such thing as bad oil these days. I've done a fair bit of my career, it was oil testing, and it's meticulous like you would not believe. Involves lots of repeatability, like doing the same lap over and over and over again, hundreds of times, and then the oil's swapped out. Basically an oil flush, it was like it was changed sort of 12 times. You know, the old oil were put in, then a neutral oil was put in, and then the new test oils were put in, and all this lot, and you could actually feel the difference when you were driving. It was amazing. But I think my error rate got down to less than 1%, because it's just repeatability, and it's what I enjoy. It's you have to think pretty hard about it, but it's otherwise it's brain in a jar. So I've done a fair bit of oil development, and I've done it for bikes and stuff as well. For one of the oils we developed was for Silkling, or Fuchs as they're known, which sounds foreign but is in fact British. Fuchs is a very old British name, and they were doing oil development on Fireblades and stuff like that, but that was quite interesting, but that's another story. Anyway, oh look, the Shelf of Wonderment. Some of you will probably recognise those motorcycle figures. They are figurines from a French cartoon series. It's either French or Belgian, I think it's French, called Joe Bar Team. And as I collect bikes, I try and find the Joe Bar Team one. I've given loads away, but we've got the Goldwing there, and that just reminded me of my mate Pete, who passed away the other year. We've got the VMAX, because I had a VMAX, and got a Virago, because yes, I had a Virago, a little 535. I had a ZXR 400, and I got nicked speeding very shortly after passing my test, doing 103 and a 60 on a very quiet Sunday evening, and I got collared by an unmarked Vauxhall Amiga. Totally my own fault. But being young and naive then, I thought they were only banning you from motorbikes, so I lost my licence for 6 weeks. But it was only like, it was no points and something like £230 fine. And this one, this would be back in like about 94, and it was dead handy because they told me where to send all my paperwork in and all this lot. So I did that, sent it off to the court, and it turned out they told me the wrong court. So then they had to send me everything back so I could send it back to the correct court, because obviously they can't pass things to each other. So by the time, I think I got nicked in, I think June or July, but by the time the ban came through, it was winter. And my boss only lived in the next village, and he gave me a lift for 6 weeks, so I didn't have to use my motorbike anyway. I had a nice warm car to go to work in, and I do believe it was a Sierra Sapphire XR4, a lovely bit of kit. So it didn't struggle in the winter, so that was quite good. That worked out quite well actually. Didn't affect my insurance or anything like that. So yeah, but in the meantime, I actually, before my ban came through, because obviously you're not banned till you're banned, I went and got a Harley 883, and I did have a photo of it somewhere, but I didn't keep it very long. I only kept it probably not even a month, and a month, 2 months, and then I got rid of it. It was just the wrong bike at the wrong time. Now I'd probably love it, absolutely love it, because I've slowed down and I like the scenery now. You know, I don't need to set the world on fire. And then I got rid of that, and I actually got a 535 Virago, and my mate got one at the same time. And do you know what? It's one of the best bikes I've ever owned. People could knock them, you know, girls' bike and all this lot. There's no such thing. Ride what you want. It doesn't matter what other people think. Ride what you want. And I've always said that to people. You know, just because your mate's got something doesn't mean it will suit you. Go and test ride as much as you like. I mean, we actually bought the Viragos from a place called Carnell's at Peterborough, now a long time defunct. But we got them from there, and I can remember that your first 7 days ownership was your cooling off period and test ride period. Basically, if you didn't like it within a week, take it back, get your money back, or, you know, have something else. So that's what we did. And I can remember the ride back. Bear in mind, you know, I've gone there on one bike and come back on another. No jokes aside, that 535 outperformed that 883 in every possible way. Brakes, handling, speed, it just did it. It just wasn't a Harley. I think the wind's blowing the doors. It is quite windy out. Of course, I've just changed the oil on the car, so naturally there's a bit of splatterage on the drive, but the drive won't rust. So yeah, that's going to be it for today. A complete failure of a video as usual, but yeah, all's ticking over in Jimmy world. I hope it's all ticking over in your world. And pretty soon, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to give away one of those muck off bags, because yeah, the stuff was all right, you know, pretty decent. So I will give one away in the next couple of weeks. I'll just put all the subscribers' names in a helmet. Cool, that's going to be painful. Oh, not that kind of helmet. Right, and do that and just put it out, and one of you will win a muck off bag. The only stipulation is UK only, obviously, because I ain't shipping something out because I'm tight. Also, I don't want the hassle of it in case it's got to go through customs or anything like that, you know, because chemicals, some countries can be really funny about chemicals. So other than that, yeah, cock on, and see you guys later. Ta-ra, bye-bye. If you've actually got this far to the end of the video, then you obviously like it, so leave me a like or a comment or something like that, because it helps the algorithm. Can I borrow your teeth? It helps the algorithms, and it means that my shite is recommended more often. Anyway, with that, guys, have a great weekend, enjoy the sun. I did notice the other day I was out on the road on a test car yesterday. Well, I've been all week, but it's like yesterday being the Friday, as soon as there was a bit of sun out, all the dickheads came out. I am not kidding. I saw some atrocious riding yesterday. One in particular going through the long shoot at Hinckley and down towards M69 on a blue Suzuki Marauder on an L plate, I think it was, and it was like, he was riding like he was trying to do a Sons of Anarchy down an 8-lane Californian highway. Doesn't work in Nuneaton. And it was an extremely loud bike with little forward motion. I actually nearly wet myself.